question about the ego. I never had it. I didn't feel like I was part of the thing. Like, remember, there's Roll Deep had like 55 people in it. Wiley, Skepta, Jamie, all these people. I was like, yeah, man. Them man were putting their whole life in this thing. Like, when you go back and listen to old XYZ, you realise you hear all them. Pride comes in. You can either be like, oh, fuck you lot, man. I was doing this for a long time. Now you want to know because it's Guanin, or it's perceived as Guanin more. We don't go there with no plan. You're going there with your bars. Depending on what happens, you have to adapt. And if you feel like all your decisions are being made for you or things are being done to you, you can't rest.
Manga Saint Hilare, past, present, future. So I feel this is going to be a really special conversation, kind of based off of our initial interaction, but also I feel like you're someone that has such a decorated past, a really intriguing present, what you're doing at the moment, and quite a prosperous future if you were to ask me. So
I see where you're going. All right. Wait, go on, you go. You could. Hey, you're doing good. I like this already. Let's go.
But no, I'm interested to get into it, and I did want to start at the very beginning. I know that you've got St. Lucian heritage, but I want to understand the very past from your perspective. And just to ask you initially, what do I need to understand about your past to get you as a person in the present?
Well, family, man. It's gonna sound so, but that's it. I got a big family. Not my initial. Well, I guess it is kind of. I got brother, sister, mum, and dad, and 16,000 cousins. Like, my mum comes from 142 brothers and sisters. My dad comes from, I think, like 98 brothers and sisters. Like, obviously I'm exaggerating, but yeah, I mean, like a lot. So I've always had cousins, family, grew up. So that idea of everyone being together all the time is just normal. I just thought everyone had bare cousins and bare uncles and aunties and rare. So that idea of not really needing like brethren. Like, say I had my brother, I had my sister. We're all close in age as well, so it's not like there was always people there. So that people understood, man. So it was kind of like, I didn't want to say weird, but like, oh, okay, when you go outside, you realize people don't know you like that. I mean, whereas I could always talk to my cousins and they know everything we've all been through, or, do you know what I mean? And connect and understand. So family was like the first thing, and then music was that as well. Cause my dad's a DJ. And he was just music all the time. Like, he was always the one that, obviously, where he's a DJ, when we're going family functions, like, he's the one, Tipper will play the music, Tipper will play, like, we'll get the, and that was just, music was just normal. It sounds so mad, but again, growing up, I realized, some people didn't grow like that. That's saying, but music was in the house all the time. And everywhere we went, like I said, I'd have to carry my dad's crates and help put the sound together and all this stuff there. Like I said, it was sick. It was sick TV. Like, it's mad TV. As I got older, I look back, I think, it was known. Yeah.
You said that you didn't feel like, as a result of having such a large family and extended family, that you didn't feel like you needed friends per se. So I wanted to understand, like, how much did that affect, like, your school life and stuff like that?
No, I had brethren, to be fair. I had brethren. They were sick. Like, school was sick. Love school, bro. Can't lie. School was sick. School was jokes. I went to Edgeware School, and it was just not fun, which is bad because I wasn't as focused as I should be. Like I said, if you look at like my grades I got or whatever, like, not say you'd think I was dumb. I wasn't dumb, but I just wasn't like the amount I encourage learning now and all these things there, and like all the stuff I've learned and I put together now. In school, I didn't have that application. I was just distracted. Like, I liked doing art. That was my thing. Drawing. It wasn't even music, to be fair. Like, I wanted to be a DJ, but that was like after. Then I just found out the price of records were like £7 each, and I thought, I ain't got no money for that. Do you know what I mean? And decks are like £1,000 and all this type of thing there. But what was I saying? Yeah. So I used to just do drawing, bro. I used to love drawing, comics. Like, I used to love like X-Men was my shit. X-Men still is my shit. But like drawing at school, like social in school, I used to get stroke every day in school. My school was so sick. But looking back at that, I didn't do much like education properly. Do you know what I mean? But
it's interesting that you say you had such a good experience at school, and kind of one of the reasons I asked is I was on your Bandcamp, and I was reading the bio, and it said something along the lines of, your music today is less braggadocious and explicit and more thought-provoking and vulnerable.
Okay.
And the word vulnerable stuck with me. And for me, from my experience and from speaking to other people, vulnerabilities can normally be tracked back to school. So
I tell you the truth, you know, it was in school. I was so just somewhere else. This is not saying bad thing happens. Like I never, you know, I realized some people got bullied or they were a bad man. Or I wasn't anything. I wasn't like just the guy that got bare girls. I wasn't the bad man. I wasn't the best at football. I wasn't best at music. I wasn't like, just there in it, enjoying myself. I caught jokes, and then it's not until after I started doing music, then I like kind of had to go in places that are kind of outside myself, and I was like, oh, raw, like everything's a bit madder than I thought. You know what I mean? That's when it was kind of like, and I kind of like fell into, obviously done grime from basically before it was called grime. Then it was, okay, this is what a grime MC does, acts like, says. Then I was doing that for a little bit, but then I realised, nah, bruv, it's not even obviously as I get older again, I'm like, no, it's not that thing. I can't be like, that's what not messed me up, but that's what started my growth, trying to be the thing that is the grime MC. Do you know what I mean? Follow a pattern.
I think I know what you mean, because you had a bit more colour to that, because there was another quote which I read, which you said, I was lost in every area of my life, and that's around the roll deep times.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, because I just thought, that's what I thought that was my whole thing. I'm just the MC. Do you know what I mean?
What you're saying that you were trying to almost impersonate what that person does?
Yeah.
What does that person do?
$1,000,000%. Because again, when I started MCing, I just enjoyed it. I just saw, you know, I started MCing, I wanted to be a DJ, it's too expensive. I went to Bigger Fish in Camden. Camden HQs it was called, and Flirter was MCing. And then we went there, because he's from Northwest as well. I was there, and he was murking. I said, "Bro, I'm sure I could do this. This is sick. This is like, I just like the vibe." And I listened to it. Like I said, I listened from, like my dad, we used to listen to jungle a lot. Jungle, obviously reggae, ragga was my thing growing up, like everyone. But again, you know, when you're young, you just dismiss whatever your parents are listening to. So when I heard jungle, it was like a different version. Obviously, it had all them same samples and energies, but it was new. I was like, yeah, this is sick. Then when I got to school, like secondary school, year 7, garage was going in. But obviously I'm young, like I'm listening to it, but I'm the oldest, so I don't have like an older brother or even old. I got like 2 older cousins. My older cousins are older than me, if that makes sense. So that makes no sense, but you know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't have no one to show me the music, so I was getting garage and bits and bobs, and then garage there, and then obviously grime. So by the time grime started, I was MCing. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm just gonna try and see what I can. So that's when Wiley put me in Roll Deep. I was already a big fan of Roll Deep. I'm still a fan of Roll Deep. They're the best crew. No one tries shit, yeah. We're the best crew. And this has nothing to do with me, with best crew. So I was like, okay, cool. I gotta be like the best in it, because obviously it's a big deal. And from what I could see, the people that were the best were the people that were succeeding. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, okay, you just got to murk. That's all that my whole thing was. But I was just like writing every day, thinking I was sick. But then I didn't have much of myself in there, in like any lyrics or whatever. I was just trying to just murk. So when I look back on it now, I realize, okay, now I'm more, yeah, man, like my story, my thing, how I'm feeling, that type of thing. Rather than before, I was just an MC. You know what I mean? And, yeah, not to diminish it, but that's how I was doing it. And then I always look back at the people who were doing well again, like Wiley, Skepta, Jamie, all these people. I was like, yeah, man, them man were putting their whole life in this thing. Like when you go back and listen to old XYZ, you realize you hear all them, and I think, oh, that's what I was missing. You know what I mean? I've got it now, but before I was like, that's why they were going in, because they weren't just spitting; it was saying stuff. You know what I mean? And being themselves. Like Jamie was then, is Jamie now. You know what I mean? And that's now. But me personally, I've got that. I would do it to say recently, but in the last, I don't know, 9-10 years, which is mad. I have to say that's recent. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How much of that do you think is to do with age? Because you talk about vulnerability there and putting stuff out there, but ultimately as a young man, it's not easy to divulge that stuff to a world which you think is judgmental. Definitely
not. Yeah, it's definitely age. Definitely age. Because again, I was, the blueprint or whatever you think was meant to be, you're just meant to be Gangster Man 4000. I'm thinking, cool, so I've got to be that. which got me in problems. You know what I'm saying? Again, when I'm in problems, like I'm out everywhere, I'm doing whatever, I'm thinking everyone's calm. Not everyone's cool. People are jealous. People are on you. People, even just from where you're from, you're famous. Man, are on you. And I wasn't walking around again. I was in my own head. I was in my own head a lot. I wasn't even had them intentions. So I'm bucking up in problems and beef and all this stuff. And I thought, well, what's all this, bruv? Do you know what I mean? Man, I even have no real issues here, but I'm having to defend and go on, and I'm like, right.
Physically?
Yeah, but for no reason. It wasn't even anything. You know what I mean? I thought, well, I'm bucking up bare problems, and I thought, it's not for anything. You know what I mean? But because you have to be that thing, and I get it. Some people have to be that thing. I didn't. So that's what it is. I get it. So I'm not saying like, oh man, grime was, dangerous. And it's mad because everyone always like, I don't want to say talks down in it, but I guess where it's gone so far, it's far from where it started. It was like, oh yeah, no, that was like it was all like a nice movement. Everyone was, it was street music, innit? It was mad dangerous. So a lot of people had to be that. I mean, remember, you're on road, you're famous, your face is bait. Man just want to do something to you for a strap. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's even just normal things going to radio. Like when you're going radio, you're getting rinse, you're getting freeze, you're getting on top. These are in crazy places. Like I remember on top with Desperado. It was Desperado's birthday here. It was me, Skepta. I think Jabba was there as well. And like we just in some block in Brixton. I thought, right, okay. I'm saying, again, I'm not from South. I'm not from South. So I was just there. And all that type of thing there, like when you're going rinse and you got to climb under this and go under, like it's all in these dangerous places. You know what I mean? Just to do your set.
What situation were you talking about there? Sorry, with Skepta and Jammer and
we were just in, on top in a block in Brixton doing radio. But I always thought about it after. I thought, right, we were just, someone said, yeah, man, we go get them, man. They're there. None of us are from there. Well, yeah, Desper's not from there either. So we was just there. But that was just to go radio because that's where the station was. And many times man used to go radio stations, even in places we wouldn't think. Like there used to be a station in St. Albans called Manic FM. Like obviously someone's clashing and you're standing for someone, they can roll up. I got rolled on about twice or three times. Man say, yeah, what you saying? We're here, and they roll up on you. And that was normal. Like it sounds so stupid, yeah, but it's normal. Like, it just wasn't like, oh man, what's happening? You're saying stuff, man are gonna see you, safe, defend it. So yeah, it was exciting, but it was a lot of unnecessary thing. But I get it, all makes the thing. That's what makes grime very special. Like that's what, all that part of it was that. Like you have to have that. Maybe not to the extent of some people got to, like I said, but it still has to be that, the conflict, the aggression, the showmanship. Like, okay, we're here. What are you saying now? I'm here in front of you. It's not like, oh, obviously dubs and all that stuff, but like even doing dubs, if you said to me, I'm going to do my dub tomorrow, it can't be like, oh, let me get my video team together. The next day. And if you're at radio now and I roll up you, we're rolling up now. Do you know what I mean? That's how you're sharp. That's why, I know I'm veering well off here, but like see how, I always say like grime artists are like the best. We're the best. Like that's why we usually very good at performing because we have to be we're not performing over the track. We improvise. Obviously we do sets, we do live things, we do radio. We don't go there with no plan. You're going there with your bars. Depending on what happens, you have to adapt all the time. It's like I said, it's further away from that hip hop culture and way closer to dancehall culture. Like I'm saying. So again, that's why I more resonate with dancehall. Like I said, I didn't grow up listening to like Tupac and Biggie and Wu-Tang and that. I've never listened to them, man, ever. Not actually Wu-Tang a bit, but like not realistically. Nah, I know about Bounty Killer. I know about Vybz Kartel. I know about, obviously this is not the same, but Barry Hammond, Sanchez. All these people there. Thinking, oh, am I going there? Cutty Ranks. Loads of people, bro. Yeah, so I'm smiling because it's sick. That's what I like. I say, because that was mad to me, like seeing all that. And that's how our thing was, or is. I say was, it's like it's not about, there was a clash yesterday with GHS and Logan, like sick. Like that's our thing. That's why we're sick at performing. That's how we got the thing, but some other parts we're not as strong on. But yeah, What was I saying about going to school? School was sick, yeah.
I'm interested. Thank you for going into it in so much detail as well, because it's given me a lot of avenues to go down. But
yeah, school was
one that I'm really interested in is you talk about impersonating, and it gets to a point when you're impersonating, you may even go back to question who you were originally.
Oh,
so how
1,000,000%.
tough is that mentally when you're impersonating, but it gets to a point and you don't even know who you are?
Yeah, so it's mad because when I say impersonating, it wasn't in my normal life. It was literally just in bars. You know what I mean? So I guess where, like I said, I got my family, my brothers, whatever, I was normal. But then when I'm spitting, and I said it sounds bad, I wasn't MCing and copying anyone, but like the formula, like I always, it's the Wiley formula. Wiley was just smirking. Wiley would do bare work and clash anyone, go to shows, go radio all the time, safe. That's what we're doing. So I thought, okay. And he was the most successful person I knew. And obviously the person that brought me into this thing. So I said, okay, that's what you do. That's how you get good big. You murk. Anyone wants to try it, you murk them. You do your works. And something will happen, it will fall in your lap. Not really. Like I'm saying, people's stories and paths are different. So when I look back at it, I thought I was doing it all wrong. I didn't have my personality in there. I didn't have my story in there. I was just talking about being the best MC, or if anyone tests me, the generic thing. And then once I clocked, I said, no, let me talk about myself. It improved drastically. Because I didn't realize they were talking about themselves. That sounds, you know what I mean? It sounds stupid. Like I was like, they were doing it. But I was just looking at the surface thing, thinking, I'm thinking they're the best. What they are. So I'm looking at they're the best. Wiley's the best. So, and this is what he does. So, okay, I need to be the best by doing a similar thing. Not copying the bars or the flow or the cadence. None of that stuff. It's just like the
blueprint.
The blueprint. Yeah, I mean, so I'm like, cool. But when I look back now, okay, and you know who, like I said, I didn't listen to American artists. You know what American artists I did listen to was Dipset, Jay-Z, Kanye West, like Rockefeller was like my first era of like, okay, that's what the American music I listened to. So obviously I love Jay-Z, he was sick, oh you're sick, Dipset, styling, everything. And then when I heard Kanye West, I'll never forget this, when I heard Through the Wire, yeah, I remember I was at my brethren's house, big up Z, his mum's house actually, and Through the Wire came on TV, on MTV Base. I never had MTV Base. I never had no channels when I was growing up. That was another problem because I was on Channel U a lot. I didn't realise when I made a video was beating every day, but I never had it. So when I was outside, I was like a target and people were like, oh man, you're this man. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't realise the tune was beating that much. Anyway, I saw the Kanye West video and then started listening to Kanye West. But I didn't realise he made all the tunes I liked on Jay-Z and Dipset and all the Beanie Siegel. I was like, oh my God, who's this guy? And he was talking not like them. Obviously, we're Americans. That's another thing. Like with it, like US hip hop, you have to listen to it a lot and try. It's so much you got to translate. You know what I'm saying? See, I guess now it's not really like that. You see it a bit more, but before we had to learn what all these words were and where they're referencing to. Like they're talking about Brooklyn and Atlanta and this one. I don't even know where they are in correlation to themselves when I first started. You know what I mean? So when I heard Kanye West, I said, oh, this guy's talking about different things. You know what I mean? And that was a big point as well.
It was a catalyst for you.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so you can do that. And then I just learned about other musics and I thought, okay, so there is a way to talk about this stuff without being like that. You know, you ain't got to go do all that to talk about what you're dealing with. Yeah, just like a more mentality change. Like, all right, let me just talk about my thing. And then whoever likes it will be with me. And I ain't got to pretend. Okay, pretend is a strong word, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about ego.
Ego, yeah.
Yeah, because you say, and you're very strong in the way that you're saying, look, Roll Deep, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. So when you joined them, and I'm not sure on timescales here, but I know as a group they got 2 number ones, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So joining there, what did that do for your ego?
No, I was with them way before that. Way before. Oh yeah, so the number, like all the chart success was 2010. I was in there 2004.
So how was it being part of that group? Like, what did that do?
Mad.
Yeah.
It was mad. I thought it was mad. It was like, so again, I listened to Roll Deep from like the first inception. I remember I listened to Page Go crew, obviously with like Wiley, God's Gift, Major Ace, Target. Who else in Page Go? Genius, Slimzy, Play, all that man. And then Wiley kept saying this thing called Roll Deep in his lyrics. Yeah, Roll Deep. I thought, what's this Roll Deep? Remember, this is before internet, so you got to decipher everything. Like, it's not And I'm not from East, so I'm saying, so I wasn't catching like Rinse FM or Deja regularly. So I'm saying you catching on. Then he's at Roll Deep. Anyway, one day I turned on the radio, Choice FM, which is Capital Extra, but whatever. Yeah. And it was CK Flash and it was Wiley, and he was like, yeah, man, I gotta bring my new crew, Roll Deep. And it was Wiley, Dizzy, Flowdan, Danny Weed, and someone was I've never think it was Carnage or Danny Weed DJ, and I'll never forget it because I was in my kitchen, and the tune was, like I said, because music was always playing like in the house, so it wasn't like, my parents are quite young, so they wasn't like Choice FM, all these things that were playing in the house, you know what I'm saying? Then I heard Flow, this is how stupid, man, Wiley spitting, and I heard Flow then. I've never heard nothing like that before. It's like, I thought it's murderous, and on the thing, this is sick. You know what I mean? And he was just murking, and I thought, wow, this is mad. And obviously, he knew about Roll Deep. Anyway, so when I got up to enjoy Roll Deep, I knew Roll Deep. Like, I'm not one of these people like, oh man, I'm Roll Deep, or like they're the top. So when Wiley said put me in Roll Deep, I didn't know what to do with myself, innit? I'm like, cool, I'm there. I didn't know any of them man there. I'm not from where they're from. I didn't grow up with them. I wasn't like the most rated MC in my ends. You know what I'm saying?
How were you received going in then?
Mixed. Mixed, because Wiley's still Wiley in it. Like, so he just put me in Roll Deep. He did it like, hey everyone, this is my God, like this is like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, God. So, and he wasn't there a lot of the time. Again, I understand, because obviously he's doing his thing. He just got bare work to do. So there were some people I connected with more, like Rochi, Flowdan, Target. I'm lying. Target wasn't even at the start, to be fair. No, he was there, but I wasn't close with him at the start. It was more Rochi or Flowdan, and then Wiley, obviously. That's it. So then I just went back to my normal life. I was still MCing, trying to get my ratings over everywhere else. So that's where, like, 2007, 8, I connected with Jamie, Skepta, Jammer, more, because we used to go to a station called Manic FM in St Albans. So again, and they're not from East either, so that being in Roll Deep thing, but being from somewhere else thing, I guess like I was around them man more. Do you know what I mean? It was weird. I wasn't around like Roll Deep until I moved back to South. So it was 2008, maybe, I don't know. My days, that's when I got to go to the studio, like at the studio Limehouse. That's when I was around everyone more. Like I'm saying, like Scratchy and Target and Breeze and everyone. So it's like, okay, then I got to know them more. But before, initially, I was still even when I was in Roll Deep, I was by myself. So again, in terms of the question about the ego, I never had it. I didn't feel like I was part of the thing. Like, remember, there's Roll Deep had like 55 people in it. So when they're doing shows, when they're doing magazine covers, but a lot of the time I wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously there's a lot of people to deal with. So if there's shows and we had like a, what am I called, 6-seater car or van or whatever it was, yeah. It's rankings, isn't it? Like obviously Wiley's got to be there, Chub's got to be there, Scratchy's got to be there. Like, but I'm low on the list. Like, sometimes they'd be like, oh, can you get there? Like it's like I said, it was in Brighton. I'm thinking, well, can you get Brighton? I might get a car and try and drive. And I'm young as well. Try to get a car down to Brighton and then I'll just go. But I wasn't like top billing. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't much ego because I've always felt like I wasn't rated. Do you know what I mean? So I had to go bill up my name somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? I went to
How much longer did that give you, feeling like you were always not rated?
Yeah, it's sick. It's the best. It's the best. Like I was saying this the other day, that like all this like now where people kind of like me and that, so kind of like, oh, all right. Like I still got, because obviously it's still a long way to go. No, like you're not gonna drop this video and get 1 million views. Hopefully you will. But I'm like, you're saying like, no, I'm not like the most street thing, but I'm like more respected and rated because obviously I've done bare stuff. But that feeling of like no one rates man is sick. It's sick. It's way empowering rather than, I don't know what it'd be like.
Do you think it's sick 100% of the time, or do you think there's a small percentage of when it's
exhausting? It's exhausting more time. But when it comes to creating, it's good because it gives you a vibe. I say this all the time, yeah. Some people who are the best, who just, they came out, everyone likes them, gal them like them, the man them like them, they're rated the best. But if they fall off, but being the best is air. Being the best is a thankless task. That makes sense. Or goal. I don't know what the right word is, but being the best, so what? Like, because then you just talk about being the best. Where's your adversary? Like, where's your, you know what I mean? What have you gone through? I'm not saying you haven't gone through anything, but that thing of, needed to prove yourself or get to the next level, whatever. If you're just widely accepted as the best after like 2 years and what like you, I'm assuming it's hard to like get motivation to move forward. Whereas me, I felt like, yeah, you might not hear it, man. So every time you see me, I'm gonna show you levels. Like I'm leveling on you every time. Anywhere I was, brother, I was anywhere. I'll clash anyone, I'll do anything, I'll dump you out, I'll make sure, you know, I'm levels when you see me. And even though sometimes it fell short, you know what I'm saying? Obviously I wasn't the best all the time, but I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna outwork you. Because again, I watched Wiley. Wiley was outworking everyone. You know what I'm saying? He was doing all this, again, he dedicated his whole life to this thing. So I thought, yeah, that feeling of not like being, that swag word, underrated, yeah, is like, it helps enough. I don't want, not saying I don't want people to like me, but if people start liking me, like, yeah, man, he's sick, man, no matter what, I'm like, I need that. I mean, I need that thing. I do need it. Yeah, so not much, sorry, to go back to your thing, not much of an ego being in Roll Deep, if I'm honest. Nah, not at all. Because I wasn't up there. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I would never had that thing like, yeah, man, I'm in Roll Deep, what? Because if I had that, I probably would stop. Because like, a lot of people in the crew, they didn't, I don't know if, again, okay, life takes over in it, but they never had that thing. Like, I need to show people what's going on, get my voice out there, get my thing out there. If I had that, you see, I'm sick, rare. And even that, like I said, when I first joined, I wasn't part, and even under that, when we got to the number ones and the top 10s, I mean, number ones in 2010, I wasn't on any of them. So I never had the, like, obviously I got money because I used to do shows with them, like we used to do shows together. But I mean, I wasn't like, you know, even on that, you know what I mean? So even that was a thing. So even when we had our top success, I still was on it, even though I was with them a lot and we obviously rolled deep. But that was still a thing, like, okay, I haven't even got that yet. So it's always like, nah, man, we got to keep going, and you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, not much ego.
What is we spoke about like the good percentages of being underrated or not being rated, quote unquote. What does the bad percentages of that feeling look like when it builds up and it builds up and it builds up?
Twitter, innit? Like, you see, just be on Twitter trying shit. The bad percentage of it, look, not being rated, it's just tiring. Like, you're putting so much into something, then you just feel like, oh, no one cares. I dropped a song today. I got a song today, me, D double, and I feel like if that was someone else, I'd be like, oh, yo, I just wake up, it's like, rah. You know what I'm saying? But then cool, go harder, innit? But it's bad because it is tiring, because you put so much into something rare, you like it, and you just sometimes just warm reception. But
what's that feeling like when you wake up and I can resonate on a much smaller scale, granted, but I can resonate with that feeling of you wake up, you check the views or you check the downloads or whatever it might be, and it's not where you want, expect and think it should be. What is that like in that moment for someone that doesn't know? It's
tiring, man. Tiring. You just think, like, allow this, man. And it's sad because you shouldn't check it. That shouldn't be the reason. Do you know what I mean? But it's only because it's so direct. See, before when I started music, you make music, you'd enjoy it, your brethren would enjoy it, safe, and you'd go around saying, I'm sick, and you'd feel like you're sick. And then, let's say someone else starts, gets a deal and gets album deal, you just think, oh, it's connections or whatever, but you still feel like you're good. But now, it's direct, like, your song come out this day, my man's song come out this day, their one's got this amount of views or streams or whatever, and your one's got this. So it's like, which one's better? It's bait. And it's not really, but it just gives you more of a strong indication of what people like. So then you start to think, whoa, so why don't people like mine as much? Obviously, I say we're not all like some super secure beings, innit? We all have insecurities and we doubt ourselves. And even if we love it at the time, like I said, I love the songs I put out. I don't put out nothing I think shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't got no manager or nothing like that. No one's telling me, oh, do this song. So every song I put out, I rate the song. So when you think, oh, well, no one will rate it, but then you have to remove your ego and go backwards and be like, step back, and be, people haven't heard it. Like I said, how do I find music? Like, I have to see it 50 times. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless I'm a super fan of that person. And then even when I'm going through like my Instagram, my TikTok, whatever, I'm just going like that. You know what I mean? And if I see something 6 times, oh, what is this? Do you know what I mean? Like, so you have to be in the real world as well, especially where I'm older as well. So my supporters, listeners, whatever, they usually got lives. When you're younger, Okay, I use Central as an example. Yeah, big up Central. That's my guy. Like, obviously,
I'm going to see him on Tuesday.
Is it? I'm so proud of that guy, bro. I'm so proud of that guy. Because like, he works really hard, and he's worked really hard from young, and so happy to see what he's doing, man. Yeah, big up Central. His audience is younger, which that's how it should be. Like, when you start, it's nice to get that thing and you grow with your audience because they got more time. All the kids in school, college, they got more time to share the music, thing right like that. Whereas even if you check my Spotify thing, my audience starts from 24 to 36 is my peak audience. Generally, then people there got jobs and thing and rare. So when I'm dropping a new tune on Wednesday, you've got other stuff to do before they get to that, you know what I mean? And then, but the perks of that is when I do shows, when I sell merch, these are people with income. You know what I'm saying? So they can come to the shows. So again, I might not get the most views, but I can shop tickets because they want to come outside and see the show. You know what I mean? Not the most tickets, not like, you know what I mean? I'm not like Dave, but you know what I mean? Like, I can sell tickets because I give them something to come out to and enjoy it. Whereas,
how hard is it to get that message across to a venue, for sake of example? Because people like numbers, right? They're like, oh, you've got 100,000 followers, you're going to sell this many tickets. But
I've been denied about 3 venues because I haven't got X amount of followers. Like they were like, I've messaged them like, yeah, can I do my show there? They're like, yeah, but your followers are not thingy. And I don't know, I haven't even got low followers, to be fair. I don't think so. I got that. I don't even know what. 30,000 on Twitter, 20,000 on Instagram, and about 10,000 on TikTok. I think that's all right, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but I guess, I don't know. But anyway, but obviously they're thinking but I get it, because they're thinking that most people follow but don't. Okay, you can have 100,000 followers and then people don't buy your thing. But not everyone, but a lot of people that are over my thing, the actual supporters, they're not there to look. I'm not showing them anything. I'm not like, look at my new watch, or look at this and look at that. Like, they're here because they enjoy my music or they like my content or whatever. So when I've hollered venues, again, I haven't got a booking agent, I haven't got a manager, I haven't got all these things. So I'm hollering these venues, they're looking at it, obviously they check your socials, and then but 3 venues in London have got, we don't feel confident you can sell it. But they're like venues I have sold. Like, so there was a venue in Dalston called Birthdays, and that's 250 cap. I've sold that out 4 times. Me with my phone. I'm saying, I've done Omira, and that was up against everything. They didn't want me to do the show there. I got the show, like, big up my publisher. That's who helped me. Like, they had to, like, on my behalf. But they're a publisher, they're not a booking agent. You know what I mean? The show, they spelt my name wrong on the thing. They didn't promote it. They didn't put it on their Instagram. They didn't put it on. It's fine. I don't think I sold it out, but I sold most of it. I think I was only like, actually, maybe I did sell it out, but I didn't sell it out on tickets on the day. I mean, tickets before. I think Umira is 400. Maybe, I don't know, 400, sold it out.
That's impressive.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not about, oh, man's got to make some followers. These followers, I don't want to say followers, these people that are on my page, they rate my thing. They're not liking everyone's thing. Pause. But they like my thing. Pause again. And that is a big difference. That's what, you know what it is? That's what gives me hope. And you think, all right, cool, nah, man, I'm all right. Because if you look at your views or you look at your thing, sometimes it's low. So when I done my very first headline show, big up Sharky, because Sharky was on there. Sharky helped me do it. Because Sharky was, you know, it's mad actually. Sharky put it on me because he said, I got the venue, you've got to do Grime Originals. But Grime Originals got too big by the time, because the first one was in Birthdays and it got too big by the time. And he had a date booked. He said, bro, do you want to do a show? I said, all right, cool. I'm going to do it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do a show, let me know. And I said, all right, cool, I'll do the show. Because he had dates booked out for Birthdays. And I done it. And I just pushed it. And it sold out. And it sounds so stupid, it sold out, but I didn't. Until I got there, obviously I actually not got there because I set up and everything, but until like I was on stage, I thought, oh my God, this is actually full. Like, it was full. I thought, oh my God, it sounds dumb. Like, again, the numbers on the screen are just numbers, and then you look in real life and it's actual people. You're like, oh. And then I started, and they wouldn't, obviously, the whole venue went mad. I'm thinking, nah, this is bad. That feeling of like actually doing it and being real life in 3D is sick. Whereas if you go off the views and the numbers and the rare, you're gonna feel disheartened because first of all, it might not be where you want it to be, and there's always gonna be someone with more numbers than you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Drake looks at Bad Bunny or Taylor Swift and be like, do you know what I mean? And Stormzy might looks at Ed Sheeran, you know what I'm saying, and be like, my man's got more than me or whatever. I'm sure he doesn't, but I'm trying to say you could always have that thing. And then, yeah, you can always have someone else to look at. So it is draining, I do get it. It's very disheartening the way they've set this thing up for artists because it just make you feel like you got no ratings. If this video goes viral, for example, and now you got bare channels, you're like, and then everyone's saying, let me come here, let me do this. You're like, it's the same thing I was doing, but they want to be here now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the scary part. I think. I don't know. I guess that's where pride comes in. You could either be like, oh fuck you lot, man. I was doing this for a long time, but now you want to know because it's Guanin, or it's perceived as Guanin more. Whereas, like I said, I know we spoke a little bit before, and you was telling me how much you put into this and your goals. So if now enough people just quickly suddenly come over here because a video went viral and they're like, oh yeah, man, we got to get on there. How would that make you feel?
Probably my initial feedback would be anger.
Yeah. See?
And then after that, because like you said, I have goals, I'd probably accept it and
of course.
I would deal with it and move on.
Your first thing is like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what you doing, right? Look, which is it's not stupid, but it's like, it's pride, isn't it? Like, what do you mean? But the whole point is for you to find something and people do something and people enjoy it. But it's when you proper care about something, you want people to find it the right way. It's mad, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's so funny you say about pride. So one of the things I'd written down is pride a barrier to contentment? And just to put a bit of context to why I came up with that is I was reading an article and it said about you within your music career, and it got to a point where you needed to essentially fund yourself. So you worked in, I think, a stockroom or something like that. And you were saying that you had to...
How do you know all this stuff? I'm joking. Yeah, I did. I've had jobs.
And you said that you had to go and do some stuff which was public facing, and you said that was really tough for you mentally because you were...
Should I tell you my team? The first... I've had public facing jobs, but a lot of my jobs actually haven't been. Do you know what I'm saying? I've had stockroom, worked in Carphone warehouse, I'm the person who's knocked on your door selling gas and all these things there. But I'm glad they didn't work out the jobs because I've never actually had a proper job. I never had a full-time job. Again, that's not like a brag, but again, I have to support myself. I haven't, so it's only me. So it's all right. But the pride thing, even that, I'm not going to say that. Okay, but yeah, even like the job thing, the customer facing thing, it is a bit, because man would be like, okay, when I worked in Carphone warehouse, people, what Mango, you still doing music and that, right? Like they were saying, but I'm gonna be real, like most people are calm. Again, I think if I was in a different bracket, if I was like, I was chatting Money Man on Rare and on the songs, I think that would affect it more. But most, I don't know, no one I never really felt a way like that. Man's got to eat, innit? I mean, like, if I wasn't making money from music, what do you want me to do? But it's the perception thing that some people have on themselves that mess them up, because it's more about themselves. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I've ever had that. Like, calm, if I've got to do this, I don't really feel no shame or anything to do that. I don't think I've ever had that. Maybe I don't know. No, I don't think I've ever had that thing of like, I didn't like it because I never liked the jobs. I've never had a job I liked. I've never been good at any job. And I can't even, it's last bad, I can't even get like a good job because I wasn't that good at school. And then what have you been doing for the last 15 plus years? I've been emceeing and making videos and you know what I mean? But which I do know now is a job, by the way. I'm going to get one soon. I didn't realise that is a job. You know what I mean? Obviously the skills I've learned, I know how to edit fluently, I know how to also audio record, I know how to, I'm good at front facing camera, I know loads of stuff. Customer service, marketing, all these things you're doing, you don't realise these are skills that people go uni and get trained for. I got them built in, you know what I mean? But growing up, I didn't realise I couldn't get a good job, and I wasn't good at any job either. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was there. So even when I have had to get jobs in between, they never lasted long. But if I had to, 1,000,000%, I don't. And again, age. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wouldn't care, bro. I'd be like, yeah, man, I got to do this, bro. Because what? Cash get flat and we're in a crisis every day. You know what I mean? But the pride, you have to kind of drop the pride thing. It's hard to like get around. I don't think I'm that prideful, if I'm honest. But obviously, that's me speaking about me. You know what I'm saying? And someone else might say, you are. It might show in other ways. Like, I guess it actually does show in other ways. Even when I'm saying it now, I realize that my thing was more about, I got to have, like, I like streetwear, I like clothes and that type of thing. So even when I was like super broke, I would, spend my last to make sure I got this and got, let me get these babes, let me get this thing. Like, that was my thing. So I guess that was my pride. That makes sense. So yeah, I guess that was my pride. Yeah.
It's interesting. Thank you for going into
Quite interested.
It is interesting because it's one of the things that I'd essentially prepared for was that pride element. It just came out naturally, so I had to tap into it.
What do you mean?
So, like I said, I'd read that article, and that was one of the things that I wanted to go into. Okay. And then you started saying pride over and over again. I was like, well, here we go.
See, natural flow.
It's meant to be. But to kind of tie up that section, and one of the quotes that I mentioned was you feeling lost in every sense of your life. So that was, Roll Deep was founded in 2001, right? And that was taken around that time. So
what was taken around the kind of quote?
Quote, you were feeling that at the time. That was, you were referencing your time in Roll Deep. That was when you were feeling.
I went Roll Deep 2001. No, I was just lost more time. Like when I say like I was feeling lost in every area, but it's only because I realized now I had no plan. Like literally, my plan was just to go MC and see what I got, and that's it. I thought, that's like, looking back, I thought that wasn't a plan. That was just a task. You know what I mean? Okay, go MC. Anywhere when it's towards MC, I used to go radio like 4 times a week, and then write and then thing. But that's not. I never had a plan. Like, put this project out, do this song, do this thing. Let's say get this. I never had no plan. So and in life, I never had a plan. I wasn't like, I want to get a car, I want to, get my house or do. Brother, I was just wrangling every day. Do you know what I mean? But
the reason I raised it is because the project name of the 2020 project is Make It Out Alive, right?
Oh, yeah,
so what I kind of wanted to understand is the context behind feeling lost in every area of your life and then making it out alive those many years later. How much of a struggle was that decade or so?
See, struggle sounds extreme. I get where you're going, but I just don't want to exaggerate and be like, no, man, it was crazy. I guess all personal things, isn't it? It's like when you slow down and start realizing that was accountability. A lot of things that happened or didn't happen was actually down to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like most things a lot of people have things that some people have a lot of people have things in their lives that they have nothing to do with that affects their life crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, their parents passed, or they was born here, or this type of, like, whatever, like, people's lives, some things are just completely out of their hands, and from when they started or whatever, or even if in the middle of their life and they just sent them left and they had nothing to do with them. A lot of things that happened to me, now looking back on it, was a direct of me doing something or not doing something. So it's more about accountability. So in terms of like my project names and things like that, so it was like my first proper one was Outburst from the Outskirts. So that was like, I want to be heard. I'm over here, but man, you're gonna hear me. Do you know what I mean? Then it was Outsiders Live Forever, because again, outsiders type of thing. Outsiders Live Forever is like, we might not be that mainstream thing or the in thing or whatever it is, but most people that are on the fringes of whatever they're doing usually make the most innovation, and they are remembered, maybe not at the time, but after you realize, that person, if he never or she never thought differently than the mainstream, then, you know what I mean? Then it was, after that? Make It Out Alive after that. Wow, I went on a run, you man, that shit. Make It Out Alive was after Outsiders. That's crazy. I'm sick, secretly. Make It Out Alive was more about remain yourself, even though everything is mad. No matter what happens, try to keep yourself, yourself. You know what I mean? Look after yourself. You know what I mean? Make it out of life. You're gonna go through stuff. You can't swerve life and not go through things. You know what I'm saying? And things, no matter, I said obviously people's things are worse than others, but you can't go through life swerving things. Things are gonna affect you. You're gonna get knocked back. You're gonna get stressed out. You're gonna be disappointed. But try to remain you. Don't try and. That's one of my key things. I'm not gonna do something to you just because you've done something to me. That's like reactionary. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you said you can't go through life swerving things. What's the biggest collision you've had?
I don't know. Maybe my biggest collision is probably just things not going how I thought they would in my head. That's it. That's it. If I'm honest, that's what is the main thing. You think it's going to be like, it could be anything, like your relationship. You had a girl, you thought, yeah, this is the one, and she's not. You know what I'm saying? She turned out to be a sket. Then, like, you think, oh, I wrote this song, I love this song. When this drops, watch. It didn't quite go like that. But again, that don't mean that, because then that girl wasn't the one then, but this one is. And then that song didn't do well, but this one did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or done better than you thought it would. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's the thing what you build up in your head that kind of messes you up. You kind of have to be now. What's going on now? You know what I mean? Yeah.
How much do you think being in control is like a contributor to being happy?
I think it's quite a big part. Because the feeling of you not being in control is scary, isn't it? Because then it's just, that's sad, because then I don't think I've had anxiety, I don't think, but that's anxiety, I'm guessing. Like I'm saying, like you're just there, and if you feel like all your decisions are being made for you or things are being done to you, you can't rest. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you be happy if any moment, like, something could just happen to you and you've got no control of everything? So things you can take, that's what I said about responses and being like, instead of just like you doing something to me do something to you, that means if I do something to you because you've done something to me, that means you're in control of what I do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you, okay, cool, you are in control of your responses, let me see how I'm moving, right? That's happiness. The whole thing of like control, options, freedom in it. So I'm saying, if you're in control of what you do, then it gives you more options, and that's freedoms, because I'm saying you're not in a constraint of someone else doing something for you. You know what I'm saying? So the more control you have, but then again, you don't want to be controlling. You just want to have the options and freedom to do what you want, respond how you want, and live how you want. You know what I mean? Rather than be controlled by time, people, energy, all these things there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
You talk about the options of control. How much options of control does being an independent artist give you? Yeah, loads. You can do what you want, but then you can do what you want. You know what I mean? But when it don't work, it's what you do. You know what I mean? That's the difference. You know what I mean? So sometimes, like you said, it's overwhelming, isn't it? So you're doing everything yourself, but you can't do everything yourself to a high level. You know what I mean? Like, if I just had to make music and not worried about the artwork, the video, the marketing, sending it out, do radio edits, interviews, and I just had someone to sort all that out for me, my music could probably be way better. I mean, because I get to take more time with it. I don't mix it down, but like checking the mixes, make sure the thing, like uploading it to the distribution, right? All these things there, yeah. If I just had to do music, yeah. If you, like, that's with anything. If this was just your job, like you're gonna just, actually it might be, I don't know, but if you ran this channel and you just the interviewer, that's it. You researched, done the interviews. You ain't got to worry about when it's going up. It's going up. You know what I mean? You be sick. I'm not saying you're not sick now, but the level of you can go into would be so much higher. But you've got 50 things to think about, which is good because it comes out exactly how you want it to with your resources that you can. But if I just done music, my music level would probably be higher because I'll just be able to do that, but I can't. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, it's good because there's no miscommunication. So when you see the end product, it's me still, rather than, she done that and it looked a bit weird on the thing, or the video is a bit, I don't know about that shot in the video. Like when you see the end product, it's me. You know what I'm saying? So that's a plus. I mean, how hard is it financially?
Right now it's okay, but then you know what's mad? Right now it's okay, and I'm very lucky to say that. But a lot of it is not from music. I mean, a lot of it's from other. No, it all starts with the music. Everything starts with the music. So I don't get shows. I do get shows, but like I don't get bare shows that to like sustain me. Sustain me. Sorry. Streams. Everyone complains about streams, but streams are okay. You know what I mean? Streams are okay, but then again, actually, I'm saying that streams are okay, but when I deep it, the amount of hours you put into the song, the video, this, that, and third, probably streams aren't okay. You know what I mean? But from me making all this music and videos and that and content, I get paid to do other stuff as well. So that's good. But like I said, a lot of years before it was super shaky, mad shaky. But you know what I mean? That's anyone who's self-employed. That's life, innit? You know what I mean? Until it goes the other way. But that's another thing. I could have like even this month I had a decent month. I've had like a couple campaign shots. Obviously got my project coming out. Got things. I might shot a merch or something. Do you know what I mean? And like that might do well. Do you know what I'm saying? Then safe. Then you're up. But then some months it's not that. And again, you have to look back on it. It's not that people don't like it or whatever. People got lives. Like I said, if I'm selling merch around Christmas, like December, people got Christmas to think about and this, that, and the third.
Perfect present.
Yeah,
perfect present.
It is a perfect present. Manga Saint Hilare.com. Yeah. But I'm saying you got to think. It's mad. So much stuff you got to think about outside yourself, and it's mad because all these big companies do that. Like when it's payday, check your emails about from H&M thing. Right? Everyone's sending you emails so you know you've got paid. You know what I mean? They're not sending it to you middle of the week, like in the middle of the month. Like it slows down because they know. You know what I mean? Like you just got like when you're independent, like in terms of the money thing, you just gotta try and move as smart as you can and be as self-sufficient as you can. So that's what I try to do. If you keep outsourcing everything, you're gonna be tired. Because you're gonna be waiting. You're gonna have to, a lot of changes. You're gonna have to wait for, can you change that? That will cost money, times thing. Try and be as self-sufficient as you can. So instead of, okay, for example, let's say I got £1,000 to spend. Instead of me spending £1,000 on the video, I'll spend £5 on the camera and try and shoot learn at least how to shoot it myself. Of course, it's not going to be super high level, but practice. So then that camera can be used over and over and over again. Or spend £1,000 on a camera and then just keep using it. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just done that. Okay. So now I don't have to shoot it myself. Like I'm saying, big up Adam, that's like the director that I work with the most. But even that, the fact that I'd done that, he could see, oh, that's what you like. I can help with that. You know what I mean? It gives a reference point. Same with my artwork. If I do my artwork, it's either me or Stevie does the artwork. So even if I show Stevie, obviously, big up Stevie, even if he's busy, I can start and say, I want it to look like this and make my version and say, here you go. And then it just makes everything quicker. You know what I mean? Being organized is key. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's just, yeah, just more self-sufficient you are, the better it will be. But it is tiring. It is tiring. And I do think other things suffer because of it. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't write. Well, after I finish my project, I'm like, let me get this like I put it, if Grime Daily wanted me to do a daily duppy, oh God, it's going to be long. I've just wrote 17 songs for this project. When have I got time to do that? Do you know what I mean? To make it high level and rare. Whereas if I was just writing in the studio every day and studios getting paid for it, I feel I can sit down and lock in. Like that type of stuff affects it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
You said it's a lot. Why do you do all this?
I don't have no GCSEs.
Is that the genuine reason?
One of them. This is what I do. I enjoy it. Yeah.
What drives you to do it? Like,
I don't have to do anything else.
So you think if they were...
That's going to be like that puff meme. But go on. You say it feels like what?
If there were other options on the table, you were saying you would consider them. This is not.
Yeah, of course. I'm not locked down to one thing. What, to make music, you mean? Yeah, of course. Bro. I do things. Other things. I do like presenting. I do content. Where I do stuff like I said, I do art. I do all these things. Like whatever I enjoy doing, I'll do. Do you know what I mean? But it's all the same thing. It's all creation, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like making P from your creation or whatever is hard in anything. In anything. I'm saying, like, you making P from this interview, YouTube channel, like, whatever, it's hard. You know what I mean? But you enjoy doing it. What keeps me going is this, I can keep going at the moment. Like I said, if my circumstances change where, like, I need to get having a kid and I got kicked out my council flat and I got to pay 15 bags a month for rent or whatever. Like, obviously, I can't mess around like waiting for bookings. You know what I mean? I got to do my thing. And again, I've been doing this for a long time. So if it comes to the point where I have to do something else, it's fine. I've done a lot over here. You know what I mean? I'm not like, it's just, again, going back to the start where I said for grime MC, being the MC, I'm not the MC, but I'm Matthew, innit? That's not my whole being. So if I could do something else, I'd be fine. Not be fine, but I mean, like, I'll be all right. I'm not gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I've had a fun time. I've come here, innit? This is fun.
But no, honestly, thank you so much for your time, energy, infectious energy, and honesty. So I really appreciate it.
Nah, thank you, man. And you're gonna pay me, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, man.